In this session 6, we're going to talk about forgiveness and belonging, which is the ultimate act of self-empowerment. In the last series, I spoke about the importance of honoring and connecting to our mothers. In this series, we look at the honoring connection to our roots and ancestry. Honoring our ancestry and our roots is what makes us feel whole. We're able to love what is in us, what was, and ultimately what may be in the future. How do we hold all of these energies at once and surrender to what is present? We often feel the pain of the past and ultimately get stuck there. We get caught in our current pain and focus on what that pain brings, as opposed to the opportunity that may have arisen out of that pain. The exploration is framed through our tapping into a deeper part of who we are and where we come from. Many people today feel disconnected from themselves because they have disconnected from their roots. Some are ashamed of their culture and the place they were born into, and others are in a pattern of avoiding the traumas experienced by their ancestry. But it is those roots and those connections that actually bind us to our soul. It's what brings our integrity to life within us. It's how life comes towards us and how we were given life through them. If we don't take life through our parents and ultimately through their parents, we cannot feel whole. We're naturally rejecting a deeper truth and a part of us that keeps us from feelings of belonging and whole. So often our gifts come through us via this connection. It makes absolute sense. A few years ago, I was invited to facilitate a unique experience of reconciliation. It was a 5-day journey to Auschwitz, where we worked with families of victims and perpetrators. These people came together to ultimately hear one another's stories and find a place of love, somewhere in between the two, a place of forgiveness, serenity, and ultimately peace after having suffered the traumas of massive loss of their entire families. They had come to leave their past behind. It was a very powerful process. We spent the 5 days tapping into our roots and the shame and trauma that was left behind. We also spent time talking about the relationship between the victim and the perpetrator. And the biggest impact for most of the participants on this journey was the sentence, "We will light a candle for the victim and perpetrator." This, for me, personally, was a turning point. Most of the participants did this with dignity, but those that refused, their pain continues. It's so deep, it seems difficult to access. So how do we deal with this transgenerational trauma? Good question. The real essence of humanness is goodness and benevolence, compassion and wisdom. These qualities are deeply human and inherent in all of us. All that by which reason separates us from these qualities that leads us to suffering and pain for us and for others. In Auschwitz, we held the question of how guilt is forwarded to the next generation and how revenge is forwarded, which bears new guilt. The same counts for victimhood in families who are in danger to bear new victims and finally become perpetrators themselves, if it is not possible to break this vicious cycle of attack and revenge. So here's an exercise. How are you moving towards peace in your heart? Journal your own story of victimhood or perpetrator in your life at the moment. Where did the love stop to flow? How can you make peace with the situation? Light a candle for all those that suffered on both sides if you can. Reimagine or rewrite a new story after that with a completely different perspective. You can do this in the form of a drawing. Sit in a comfortable chair, take in 5 deep breaths in and out. Imagine all your ancestors standing behind you. And just lean back on them. And as you lean back, take in all that beautiful wisdom that comes from generations, many, many generations back. And just breathe in the wisdom and the gifts that are coming through them to you now. Lean back, as far back as you can go, honoring your place with them, the values, the love, and everything that you take with love from them. And when you open your eyes, I want you to go into your journal and write down your experience. What was that like? What did you take in? What was the feeling of belonging, such a strong feeling of belonging?